悪霊退散。
Clive has been out for about 2 weeks. And at the start of that journey, I kind of asked all of you guys, how strong do you think he is? Now, I said S tier. A lot of you guys at the time said A tier. I wonder if we did this poll again, would you change your mind and now say S tier? The guy is decimating online. He's bodying everyone. And because of it, when you look at the Steam reviews, it's currently mixed. You can see a lot of positive, but some negatives. And I was looking through the comments of these, and a lot of people were basically talking about how Clive is super OP. The guy can hit you from across the screen. It's just madness, right? And I think it's so fascinating when you talk about the journey of Tekken 8 and how it's go up and down when characters release. Heihachi release, 14,000 people show up to play. Clive release, 11,000 people show up to play. Lydia release, 13,000 people show up to play. Season 1 revealed 4 characters for Tekken 8, and each character reached varying levels of success, but regardless of that, they all had a huge boost in momentum and just kept the game, the conversation, and everything going. When you talk about Season 2, a lot of people are expecting, once again, 2 characters to show up in a game, but some people say that's not enough. They want more characters. You have this really long tweet from King J, and he titles it himself Hot Take. Now, before we break down this tweet, I want to just show you guys my idea of what will happen in Season 2 and beyond for Tekken 8. So what I think is likely to happen is Anna, Season 2, first character, Fakamram, second character, Armor King third character, and then a guest character again. That is what I think they'll do for season 2. And then season 3, you can see like the pattern that I have there as well. Now, I admit that this looks kind of crazy. Like there's so many characters down here that you would leave out. Like even though I think not all of these characters should make their way into the game, there's definitely some of these characters that could definitely make a return. So many great characters here, right? And then also talk about brand new characters. This is 4 seasons of Tekken 8 if they didn't do any new characters and they only did a guest character at the end. But what if they want to do 2 new characters, 1 guest character? Then you would remove a lot of these guys. If they follow the format of doing 4 characters every season, this is what I think it will look like, and you will have a lot of characters left out. And this is why people say add more than 4, add 6 characters. Because if you think about Tekken 7, Tekken 7 was crazy. They did 2 characters season 1 and a game mode. They did 6 characters season 2, and I believe they had 1 stage, a part of it that's Negan. And then they did for season 3, they did 4 characters with 2 stages, no, with 1 stage and frame data, right? And then for season 4, they did 2 characters again, but 2 stages that time. Oh, and they had 2 stages in season 1. So you can see it's pretty chaotic. This is just off of memory, trying to remember what each season had, but there was no format there. Now that we're really into like the development cycle for all of these games, you can see that they all have a pattern, right? I believe Mortal Kombat did the same amount of characters season 1, season 2. Street Fighter definitely did. We're expecting Tekken 8 to do that. But the thing about Tekken 8 that's different from those games is that it has like a bigger chunk of characters that needs to make it into the game. Street Fighter has the luxury of doing like 20 characters and being fine. Same thing with Mortal Kombat. Tekken, the bare minimum they can ever do is 32, and we see how chaotic it is already, right? So this is why people say put more characters in the game. Now, what I must say as well is that I am a person who thinks that adding too many characters can potentially become create a problem. When you talk about Tekken 7 and when things got worse is when they added super powerful characters into the game, Leroy Fakram, but also when they added a lot of characters into the game. It became too much to learn to for a casual player and a pro player. And pro players have said that. Like people think I just make that up. Pro players said all of these characters is too much to learn. But then also what we realized is it's too much for the developers to balance. The last like 3 years of Tekken 7, so many characters were completely ignored, or they got 1 or 2 things, and that was it. And that's because the developers were always chasing the top tier characters and the characters that Twitter was complaining about. Certain characters just got completely ignored. So that's why when you put a lot of characters in the game, it can be kind of problematic. So when you talk about adding more characters into season 2 or just future seasons, it gets pretty interesting. So, King J, hot take. I really think 4 characters per fighting game season pass needs to go. When you release a game with a 50 price tag with base roster, stage modes, and then releasing 4 characters for 25, it becomes quite expensive for the community as the season pass progresses. So this is something that I didn't really highlight, right? Is how much money are we spending, right? So you talk about 5 season passes, if Tekken 8 was to go on for 5 years, that is another like 125, right? That's a lot of money. On top of people already spending a lot of money on the base game. Some people bought the $80 version like myself, but then some people went above and beyond about the collector's edition, the ultimate edition. Another poll that I asked you guys, this was 2 weeks ago, was for the deluxe and ultimate owners, are you happy with your purchase now that season one is complete? Because when you put this much money up front and then a year later, when you reflect on everything that you got, are you happy with it? So I do think that is an important thing to consider. Let's keep going with the tweet though. Some of the best passes have 5 to 6 characters for the price I believe that is worth. Looking at the character selection for the current gen games, it's tough to spend out on 4 characters, then there being characters you don't like. That's the thing, right? Putting money down for characters that you don't like. That's why I would say either just wait or buy individual characters as they're released. But then also what I would say to this is that I think it would be better priced if they added more to the season pass. Because say what you will about Tekken 7 adding frame data to the season pass or Tekken bowling to the season pass, at least it gave those season passes more value. In Tekken 8, the developers tried to remove all of that stuff and only do characters. They tried to remove the stage, remove game modes, remove this, remove that, and just sell it characters. And I'm happy that the players fought against that, and we at least got the stages put back into the character pass, season pass. But what about if they wanted to add a new mode or something else? At least Tekken 7 put all of that stuff in the past, whereas Tekken 8 so far we only have characters and stages. Like, I mean, look at this. When you used to look at the season 1 pass, 4 characters and 1 stage, you compare this worth to what you got in Tekken 7, and I can't blame the players for being like, this is not good enough, especially when all of these characters, Eddie, Lydia, and Heihachi, were all in 7 already. That's crazy. That's a whole nother discussion. Talking about the developers reselling us the same characters. Once again, look at this tier list I created. Anna, Armor King were both sold as Season 2 DLC. For them to be sold as Season 2 DLC again in Tekken 8, I mean, that's not fair in my opinion, but I mean, it is what it is. You guys want the characters that you want, right? Let's continue. All in all, I think that the standard for Season Pass should be 5 to 6 characters minimum, with also thinking in development costs in consideration. At the same time, I wouldn't want to rush to Season Pass, but these quality of characters have been produced previously in Season Pass, which is why I'm suggesting it again, as it is way more hype than waiting quarterly for 4 characters. Personally, I really hope Street Fighter 6 Season 3 and Tekken 8 Season 2 pick fan favorite characters. This is also something you have to talk about, right? I have a chart where I broke it down. Basically, you had to wait. They showed Eddie, we waited 75 days for his release, and then they showed Lydia, we waited about 56 days for her release. They showed Heihachi, we waited about 63 days for his release, and then Clive was probably another like 50, 60 days. So they show one character that gets everyone happy, and then we go silent for basically 2 months. And it would be cooler if you were able to spread out more reveals throughout. What I think the developers should do is to separate the battle pass and like balancing from character reveals. So you stagnate each reveal and you add hype at different moments. That also could help. You reveal a character at the start of the month, 2 weeks later, the battle pass start. Another 2 weeks later, you do a balance patch or something to just break up this huge gaps of time that has everyone dying for the next thing.